Hey, what's going on, you guys? It's Russ. So, I've been getting requests to talk about the recent assassination that took place yesterday of, and I really hope that I don't butcher this, Shinzo Abe. I don't know if it's Shinzo Abe or if it's Shinzo Abe, but he was the former prime minister of Japan, and he was shot and killed for absolutely nothing other than the fact that some guy, the guy that shot him, thought that he was a part of some religious group. And that is the reason that this man decided to kill Shinzo Abe. Only reason, because he had thought that he was part of a religious group that he did not like. So, what I'm going to be doing is I'm just basically going to be going over the assassination that took place and discussing the suspect and what his motives were, because there's still currently a lot of misinformation being spread about this situation because it just did take place. And usually, when a big situation like this takes place involving a shooter killing a prominent figure, be it political or otherwise, people will go out of their way to spread so much misinformation. It is ridiculous. So I'm just going to go over the information that I did find on this fiasco that I think personally is accurate and, up to date. But first of all, let me go over who Shinzo Abe was. Shinzo Abe was a Japanese politician, it says here, that served as Prime Minister of Japan, and he was also president of the Liberal Democratic Party from 2006 to 2007, and again from 2012 to 2020. He was the longest serving Prime Minister in Japanese history. Abe also served as Chief Cabinet Secretary from 2005 to 2006 under Junichiro Koizumi and was briefly leader of the opposition in 2012. So, he was, I believe, he was succeeded as prime minister, it says here, by, it says Yoshihide Suga, and he was also succeeded another time by Yasuo Fukuda. So, that is not who is currently the Prime Minister of Japan, by the way. Neither of those people are currently the Prime Minister. Those are just the people that succeeded Shinzo Abe after he left office as Prime Minister. So, now I'm going to basically just discuss the assassination. On 8 July, which was yesterday, Shinzo Abe was shot twice while delivering a campaign speech in Nara. And Nara is one of the, well, actually, no, it's not one of the, it is the capital city in Nara Prefecture, Japan. So, the assassin used a homemade musket-style firearm and fired two shots, the first striking Abe in the neck and the second striking him fatally in the heart. And this is who the suspect is that shot him. A 41-year-old man named Tetsuya Yamagami, a former Japan Maritime Self-Defense Force officer with a term of 3 years from 2002 to 2005, was arrested following the shooting and later confessed to local police. Yamagami stated that he held a grudge against a particular religious group and shot Abe because he believed that the religious group and Abe were connected. Yamagami said he resented the fact that his mother was brainwashed by a religious group and went bankrupt. He also stated that he killed Abe because he believed he was the one who spread the religion to Japan. Yamagami claimed that he didn't have a grudge against Abe's political beliefs. Abe was rushed to the Nara Medical University Hospital in Kashihara, where he was later pronounced dead at 1703 Japan Standard Time, I'm assuming is what JST means. Prior to his arrival at the hospital, Abe had already shown no vital signs. Despite a transfusion of 100 units of blood, the blood loss was too great and attempts to resuscitate Abe failed. He was 67 at the time of his death. In response to the shooting and his subsequent passing, numerous present and former world leaders expressed their sympathies and support for Abe. So he basically got killed in blood while he was killed in cold blood while he was trying to give a speech. And there's now a whole separate article about Tetsuya, so we're going to take a look at that. Suspect Tetsuya Yamagami. So he was born either 1980 or 1981 in Mie Prefecture, Japan, and says capture status is arrested. Military career, he was part of the Japan Maritime Self-Defense Force, and he was a leading seaman. That was his rank, apparently. Tetsuya Yamagami, a 41-year-old man living in Nara City, was arrested by Nara Prefectural Police at the scene on suspicion of attempted murder and was transferred to the Nara Nishi Police Station. He was described as being calm and having made no attempts to flee. Yamagami had no prior criminal history. Yamagami was born in Mie Prefecture. Described as quiet and reserved in high school, Yamagami wrote in his graduation yearbook that he didn't have a clue what he wanted to do in the future. He joined the Japan Maritime Self-Defense Force, JMSDF, in August 2002, where he was dispatched to Kure Naval Base and assigned to the JS Matsuyuki. He was discharged from the JMSDF in August 2005 as a quartermaster with the rank of leading seaman. During his service, Yamagami had firearms training once every year, so he already knew what he was doing because he was trained when he was in the self-defense force. So, yeah, like I said, it's not like he didn't know what he was doing. He was prepared for what he was about to do. During his service, Yamagami had firearms training once every year already. I already read that. In October 2008, Yamagami had started working as a forklift operator in Kyoto Prefecture for a manufacturer that operated in the Kansai region. There, he was described as quiet before quitting in May 2022 after claiming that he was feeling unwell. Yamagami was unemployed at the time of his arrest. After his arrest, Yamagami told investigators that he has intended to kill Abe for personal reasons with no political motive. He had stalked the former prime minister around various locations, including when Abe gave a campaign speech in Okayama Prefecture the day before the assassination. He also claimed that he held a grudge against a particular... Oh yeah, I already read all of that. He stated that he first planned to assassinate the head of the religious group, but later switched his target to Abe due to him being unable to contact the group. Police refused to elaborate on the religious group. Yamagami told police that he kept track of Abe's schedule during his visit to Nara City via Abe's website. He also claimed that he was planning an attack for several months and had built the weapon used in the shooting. Police discovered several possible explosive devices and handmade guns similar to the one used to shoot Abe during a search of Yamagami's home following his arrest. They were later seized as evidence and taken by bomb disposal officers after nearby residents were evacuated. Websites about bomb making and weapons manufacturing were discovered in Yamagami's browsing history. So not only did this dude have training for how to use a firearm during the time that he was in the self-defense force, he also actually was actively looking and researching how to make his own guns and his own weapons. So this was someone, without a doubt, as I said before, that knew and was fully aware of what he was doing. It's not like this was just some random person that just came along and had no clue how to kill somebody. No, this man absolutely was prepared for what he was doing and for what he did. And oh yeah, the current Prime Minister of Japan, Fumio Kishida, called the assassination an unforgivable act and an act of cowardly barbarism. Noting that Abe was shot while delivering a campaign speech, Kishida also denounced the assassination as an attack on Japan's democracy and vowed to defend a free and fair election at all costs. Before Abe's death was announced, Governor of Tokyo, Yoriko Koike, stated that no matter the reason, such a heinous act is absolutely unforgivable. It is an affront against democracy. Kazuo Shi, chairman of the Japanese Communist Party, called the assassination barbaric and called it an attack on free speech and an act of terrorism in a post to Twitter. Tomoaki Onizuka, head of Nara Prefecture Police, acknowledged security lapses at the political rally where Abe was killed and pledged to identify and resolve the flaws. It is undeniable that there were problems with the security for former Prime Minister Abe, and we will immediately identify the problems and take appropriate measures to resolve them. In response to the shooting and Abe's subsequent death, representatives of numerous countries, including present and former world leaders, expressed their condolences. Anthony Albanese, Prime Minister of Australia, said that Japan had emerged as one of Australia's most like-minded partners in Asia under Abe's leadership. Albanese also mentioned Abe's foreign policy contributions, adding that the Quad and the Comprehensive and Progressive Agreement for Trans-Pacific Partnership are in many ways the results of his diplomatic leadership. Albanese said that Abe's legacy was one of global impact and a profound and positive one for Australia. Landmarks in Melbourne, Adelaide, Sydney, and Perth were lit up in red and white, and flags were flown at half-mast on the day of the funeral. Jacinda Ardern, Prime Minister of New Zealand, recognized Abe as a statesman, someone who helped usher through complex negotiations like the CPTPP. U.S. President Joe Biden ordered flags of the United States to be flown at half-staff until July 10, 2022. In Bangladesh, a day of state mourning was declared for today, July 9th. In accordance, the flag of Bangladesh will be flown at half-mast. The International Olympic Committee, IOC President Thomas Bach, recognized Abe for being instrumental in securing the 2020 Summer Olympics for Tokyo before his tenure ended in 2020, as well as his vision, determination, and dependability that enabled the IOC to make an unprecedented decision to postpone the Olympics by a year. The Olympic flag will be flown in, I really hope that I don't butcher this, Lausanne at half-mast for 3 days. Releasing a joint statement, the leaders of the Quad nations of Australia, India, and the United States noted that the organization will redouble their work towards a peaceful and prosperous region in honor of Abe. The White House noted that Abe played a formative role in the founding of the Quad partnership and worked tirelessly to advance a shared vision for a free and open Indo-Pacific. So, that's about it. And everything else is just more like random articles about the shooter and about what everybody else thinks that his motives were, mental illness, the whole 9 yards. It's just more bullshit that doesn't deserve any kind of attention or notoriety. So that's basically it. May Shinzo Abe rest in peace. My condolences to everybody in Japan. I hope that nobody else in Japan is harmed by anybody like this again. And I also hope the current Prime Minister of Japan is safe. And I hope that he stays safe, because I would hate for anything like this to happen to him as well. It's just a shame. It really is a shame. Like, how much of a fucking coward do you have to be to shoot a man in cold blood while he's trying to deliver a speech? It's ridiculous. It really is. But once again, This is obviously yet another person that wanted to be known as a martyr. So that is why he decided to kill Shinzo Abe. This has got to stop.